welcome to the Crafty Boys, where we drink beer and talk crap, essentially. So there you go.
That's what it
What
is.
else can I really say?
Yeah.
How's it going, boys?
Good. How are you guys? You guys are looking well.
Good.
I'm feeling well. I have beer. I've been drinking beer for a couple of hours, so
You actually look like you.
Well done, sir.
So.
Yeah, I had one of the beers already that we are going to enjoy. But Julian, friend of the show, of course, had brewed recently, so we were testing
Very nice.
all of his wares.
Nice.
And how is his latest?
It's actually quite good. A little sour, as he would say, because he thinks that the fermentation wasn't cold enough for the. It was a base pilsner. So
he aims for a very clean tasting product, which is a good thing to want to master. But
true.
If his my most recent sampling of his wares suggests that if his stuff isn't quite to a the clean taste of a professional brewery, it does have this saison quality that I think is pretty great. Anyway, go on.
Locke, what are you drinking tonight?
So this evening I have a specialty product which caught my attention, and it was expensive for what it is.
Yeah.
I priced it out in terms of alcohol per volume as compared with wine. This is 11% for 500 milliliters, as opposed to what you would expect out of a wine would be 14% for 750 milliliters. So if you're trying to get drunk, this is not the right way to go. This is the wrong way to go. But on the other hand, so Vanishing Point is maybe a good name for it. As you can see, the art Vanishing Point. I don't know quite why it's 08, but when I hold it up to the screen, one of the hilarious things about it is all the words are backwards, except that would say 80. What was the film Vanishing Point? Do you remember?
I have a vague memory of it.
Vague.
Like we were all like kids when that came out. That was
Oh, yeah.
I think 79, 78, 79, maybe 80. Shane, can you look that up? Anyway, so this is Innocent Guns
that sucker up.
Imperial Stout. What
Now,
we have
this is a
to see here
product from Innis and Gunn in collaboration with somebody, right?
Yes, in collaboration with Glenlivet, who are the noted Glenlivet whiskey distillery.
Right.
So all right. So Vanishing Point is far in the distance, something always slightly beyond reach. We aim our annual Imperial Stout release this to reflect our unrelenting mission to never rest in our laurels, instead striving to push our brewing boundaries to always keep progressing. Every ingredient is hand-selected, the absolute best we can get, and chosen with only one thing in mind: flavor. Every year when we come to brew and mature it, we build on what we've done before, always refining, always progressing this beer, our apex, our vanishing point. Okay. Continuing our collaboration. Oh, Jesus. Sorry. Who the... Oh, Siri.
He says using his phone.
But you recognize
All
the
you
tone,
at this
right?
hour.
Yes.
You do recognize the tone.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Continuing our collaboration with our friends, famed whiskey makers, Glenlivet, Vanishing Point 08 took us to an unexpected place, the Caribbean. This year's beer has matured for several months in casks emptied of the Glenlivet Caribbean Reserve. Casks first used to mature Caribbean rum before traveling to Scotland to be used to finish single malt whiskey. The resulting beer is packed with flavor, rich, complex, yet mellow, with an espresso and toffee backbone, accented with hints of tropical fruit. Best served chilled in an Innocent Glen branded goblet or a big red wine glass if you don't have one. Well, I don't have one, but what I do have, oh yeah, there we go. Yeah.
1971.
So we weren't even born yet.
No. Isn't that weird to say that I was not born yet? It's like the entire beginning of written history, I was not born.
Yeah, that's pretty screwed up, eh? Hold on a second. I'm going to run and get myself a bottle opener. Because this requires an actual bottle opener.
Shane, while
Well,
he's
while
gone
he's
to get a
out-
bottle opener, take off your shirt.
We also have Innocent Gun.
We do. It's kind of crazy. Ooh.
We didn't plan this week, but all of us have
Well,
Innocent
you and I
Gun.
did, but Locke,
Well, we planned. We didn't tell him, though. I mean,
No.
come on, look at the guy.
he's all the way out in
We've got
Ontario.
the...
My teeth were always sufficiently messed up
Locke.
that I never tried to open these things with my teeth.
don't do
Couldn't
that.
find a bottle opener, but I've never let a bottle defeat me by hand units of a set of keys.
I just prefer when I want to open
Yeah.
bottles with my teeth, I just smash them on the side of a bar. You know, that always works.
Yeah, well, it's done.
It is wee tiny.
All right, I want to see this.
So, here we are.
I think our beer's being made.
There we are. Vanishing Point.
What a great label.
I know.
It's pretty sweet. Let's, yeah.
All right, I'm dying to hear what you actually have
Right,
to
I'm
say.
using
I want to see this pour. Ooh. I love the color.
That is black molasses.
This is a dark beer.
Dory, don't do that. My dog rolled
Yes,
in something
not
really
wrong.
wrong today, and now she's rolling on my sofa.
There's more than a hint of molasses in this.
All right, give us the flavor profile. What does it smell like first? The aromatic impact here.
Okay, so you know me. I'm not fond of sweet stouts, but on the other hand, I love me a rum and cola.
That reminds you of rum and cola, really?
Yeah, it reminds me of rum and
Wow.
cola, which would bring out the rum cask element of it.
Yeah.
Which is to say that you got a rum cask rolled into a whiskey cask, rolled into a stout, an imperial stout at that. Though, if we're going to be honest, 11% is so. So yeah, I think it's the stout, because we know what Innocent Gun are like when they make a stout is dry.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, Shane, were you finding that extra dry a moment ago?
No, it was you were sitting there in
I
thought.
was doing one of my pauses because I was thinking about it. Because I actually think about this stuff. Like, hey,
I know, it's terrible.
I-
How dare you actually consider thinking a thought, putting it together, forming it so it actually,
yeah, look, this is an unscripted show, as you well understand. So there we are.
But basically, it's kind of like a.
I would say, look, I would say this is for what I was looking at, which was an idiotic price point, which is in Ontario $17.95.
What?
$17.95 for one of these.
Are you kidding me?
Comes in a very pretty box, which, as you can see, is printed not on one, but on all. So, like this is like,
wow.
This is
So they've
pretty,
gone all out to
this
justify
is
the
one of
cost.
those luxury items. Like, I should have done a full unboxing. I apologize to all of those who like unboxings. Maybe we'll start to introduce that as an element of the show to try to attract more millennials. But,
Here we go. That's cool.
cask matured for 365 days, so it says.
I mean, if they're keeping it in a cask for a year, I mean, that's significant, right? I mean, so yeah, you are going to pay a premium for something like that, but still, $18 for a beer.
Sorry, what was the how much beer is in the bottle? How big is the bottle?
500 mil.
500 mil. Okay, so
Yeah, 500 milliliters of 11% beer, which is to say that if you were trying to get drunk, you'd better buy a bottle of wine over that. But
totally. I mean, Thor's Hammer is probably like the strongest beer that you can.
Now that said, this is a refined and interesting beer, carefully done. Alcohol per volume, it's not competitive with wine. But if you look at what the same thing done in wine would fetch, for the care and attention, this draws us back to the question of what is craft beer. And this is something where there's somebody actually thinking about what they're trying to do, and evidently coming up with something that's
$18 a bottle.
$18 a bottle. Good point. Yeah. So anyway, that's how that. But I having spent $18 for this not very competitive way to get drunk, am finding this to be a refined beverage that I like for the price of admission. Yes, I'm having a good time. I'm happy with my purchase.
Okay, perfect.
All right. So the beer that we have is also an Innocent Gun. It is, yes, it's in a tiny little bottle, but it is rocking in at 6.6% alcohol by volume, which is
what's interesting about ours is that it is also a single malt cask beer.
That's right.
Even though it's like just the regular run-of-the-mill Innocent Gun. But it doesn't say anything about Glenlivet.
Oh my god. Sorry. I'm having technical difficulties.
We are having technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Please stand by. All right, I'm going to do a pour here.
Okay, I already poured mine. I'm drinking it. And yes, they are little tiny bottles, which is why you buy more than one.
Yes, they do come in 4-packs. So
mine came in a 6.
Oh, really? Mine only came in 4. Boo earns. Now, this is actually what I noticed now, because I had one of these about a couple hours ago. The one thing I did notice was, in comparison to other cask-based things, this is, you do not really notice the alcohol at all. And I actually said to Jules when I was drinking it with him that it was very smooth. And then 10 minutes later, I read the bottle, and it says, uniquely simple malt whiskey cask, matured to be deliciously different and seriously smooth. So I got to say, before I read that, it is very smooth.
It is smooth. For something that's cask conditioned. Right. Actually, I don't know if it's cask conditioned necessarily, but uniquely single malt whiskey cask matured. So I'm going to take from that it was conditioned in a whiskey cask. The flavor is not as potent as I would expect from something that's been conditioned in a whiskey cask. Usually the flavoring imparted from the cask itself would be much bolder than it would be for here. And I wonder, does it say anywhere how long it was conditioned in the cask?
On the bottle?
Just anywhere.
It does not say anywhere on said bottle. I will look it up because that is what I'm good at.
Yeah, look it up. I'm going to guess it's probably not more than, say, a month.
It says here that Alan is wrong.
Okay.
Here we go.
God, you sound like my wife.
We don't tell her anything. Oh God, the Innocent Gun website's like broken. What's going on here? Innocent Gun, the original, 330 milliliter bottles, 6.6 alcohol by volume. Suitable for vegans. The result is a blah, 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 blah. It does not say how long on their website.
Okay, I'm going to stick with my original assessment. Probably not more than a month.
Yeah, there's a lot of people praising it for not being overly powerful, because even with the alcohol doesn't really punish the flavors that have been in here.
The fact that it's cask conditioned does add to the alcohol content, which is why this is a 6.6% beer. But you would expect for something that's been conditioned for a long period of time, like say Locks has been, you would expect, like a 10 or 11%. But this being 6.6, I'm going to suggest that a month, 2 tops. Whereas Locks spend an entire year.
Something like that, yes.
Yeah.
So,
but I like it.
Innocent Gun has created products that are decent.
It's a gooder.
Well, look, so what we seem to have is a sort of if you think about the diaspora that pays attention to whiskey, right? Australia, New Zealand, the Caribbean, as referenced by their. Yeah, you've basically got a picture of the Commonwealth. That's who they've more or less identified as their audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All right. Well, I think we've all had good experiences with our beers.
All right, let's talk about the pressing matters of the past week.
Boom. Hey, I went and I bought a CD, like a brand new CD, for the first time.
You can still do that?
I don't know.
What 20 years? Buy?
I bought, and I'll get you to look it up so we have a visual representation. But it came out last week, actually, I think, on Friday. It is the Pink Floyd at Pompeii.
Okay.
So what they've done is Pink Floyd at Pompeii was a film that came out in 1970.
Yeah.
And what they've done is redid the whole, like they took the original source material, they cleaned it up, they released it as a record album, like vinyl, or on CD. Plus there's a DVD and a Blu-ray release of the movie. And
in 2025,
this is them live in Pompeii.
yes, it's the same recording, but it's been cleaned up. It's been remixed.
Sorry,
it just dropped like last week.
You say it's on CD. So why are they releasing it on CD now?
Because they can. It was never released on an album before. It was just a movie.
Well, yeah. Okay, fair enough.
So this is the first time it's been available in an audio format.
Now, when you say now, is it just somebody took the sound, the direct audio that goes along with the visual that is the movie, and released it as, or is this
both?
Well, I guess the question is, how much of what's in Pink Floyd Live at Pompeii is one take, and how much of it's edited? Is any of it edited? Because
I would think so. They did different versions of the same song, so they probably took elements from different recordings and put them together. But it sounds amazing. I've listened to Pink Floyd at Pompeii lots over the years. Like I have somebody ripped the audio from the film, and there's it's like a bootleg that's out there, but the sound was always a little bit muddy on it. The highs were a little bit too high, the lows were a little bit too low, and so this new recording, it sounds like a
sorry, it's not a new recording. What it would be?
No, it's not a new recording. It's the same old recording, but it's been cleaned up and remixed.
Cleaned up using what? Is this an AI thing?
Might be. I don't know. There's a guy who cleaned it up, who's apparently quite well known in the recording studios scene.
I mean,
I don't know the name, but
I might be open to either, just as something that I might listen to.
Shane, what was the name of the guy that it was like Warren something?
Who?
The guy who remixed it.
Steven Wilson.
Stephen Wilson.
So to give you a backup here, or to give you an idea of actually what they did. So they went back to the original 35 millimeter footage, and they remastered it from the originals. They cleaned it up with 4K tech and all that kind of fun stuff. But they also re-released it, and it was remixed by this gentleman named Steven Wilson, who has a history with progressive rock albums. I don't know much about him. They don't really have a whole
I don't
lot
know anything about him.
But essentially, they just digitally remastered the whole thing from the original material and remixed it from the original material. So my point being, there's no AI involved.
Okay.
Like it was actually a sound
involved.
Kind of stuff that actually did it.
It sounds amazing.
It's what he was about.
It sounds like it was recorded yesterday.
So, Steven Wilson, He also apparently worked on Dark Side of the Moon, or his family did. His father did. Okay. I guess audio engineering is in their blood. But he's a musician in his own right. He does a bunch of stuff as well. But so you can get a 2 LP vinyl edition, which was the very first vinyl release for the concert. So, yeah, I mean, you're right. It was it's been such a long time since I've watched it, but it definitely was only on film prior to that. So I didn't know this was happening. This is so you bought the remastered CD.
Yes.
That's all this conversation basically.
That's what
Alan bought a
is all
CD.
about.
Now, I don't remember the last time I bought a CD. What about you guys? When is I mean, aside from you,
Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden. What album?
That would have been The Red and the Black. What was that one? Book of Souls.
Book of Souls. Okay.
Yeah, and the art was awesome, and it was one of those things where it's sort of like packaging, to the degree that packaging design used to be a thing, and is now sort of being replaced by interface design, maybe.
Yes, we are.
We're totally AI, completely fucking AI.
I have 6 fingers. Look. Never late in the fedora. The last thing you'll see before you die. Yeah, that might be true.
Am I okay?
Locke may be a lawyer, but he's also his side gig.
It's not really a thing on this show. I'm not providing any of that kind of advice.
But what about your side gig as an international assassin?
Sorry, what? Oh, international assassin. Oh, yeah. Well, of course, but it's only incidental to my art crime.
Your art crime, okay. I totally lost my train of thought.
I mean, what I have is an IKEA light that I'm fucking around with.
Actually, no. This is a bizarre little segue, but speaking of IKEA lights, I was watching a video from a dude who I watch very seldom, but every so often he does like hacks for different things. So he'll go out and he'll buy like some kind of electronic device, or he'll buy some furniture, or he'll buy some, and then he goes and he like modifies them in different ways. And there's one of the more recent videos he did. He did he bought some. He went to Kmart. Is Kmart still in Canada?
No.
I don't think so.
Not for a long time.
So he went to Kmart.
Still in Canada?
Yes, it is on the second floor. There, what remains of the bay.
What?
It's going to be gone very shortly, though.
Look, here's the simple fact of the matter is, I kind of really wish that the Bay outlived whatever's going on right now, and like whatever it takes to make that happen. I hope that it happens.
I think it will. I don't think the Bay is going forever. I think somebody will resurrect it.
It's not as simple as like I'm learning something about resurrecting companies. It's a fussy business, but
I agree.
Oh, I get it. You know what? I mean, I'm sorry. I don't mean to change the subject because I think we're kind of going to a different. Shane was trying to go somewhere else, but if Shane.
Sorry, I may have gotten distracted. It is 11% beer that I'm drinking here.
Yeah. I think it's a crime, actually, that the Bay is closing, and they're not using this as an opportunity. Okay, you got to close some stores. That's fine. Rebrand some as Zellers. Bring back Zellers. Canadians want a Canadian alternative to Walmart, because really, that's all there is left is Walmart.
That might be true.
They did for a little while, but only because Target tried and failed to.
But I would pay more to shop for a product at a Canadian store than.
But okay. So one of the things that all of us have in common here is you, I, Shane. we're all guilty of being Gen Xers. Now, do either of you read The Economist?
No.
Once in a while.
Okay, so their latest article is on why Gen Xers are fucked. And the point is, we are, and it's a numbers thing, which is to say that so the baby boomers are the baby boomers because there was a huge cohort with vast numbers, and then there was us. And then there was another huge cohort called the millennials. And then there's Gen Z. But out of all of those who are currently populating the world, because everybody before that's more or less basically gone, even Gen Z, although they're a baby bust by relative terms, outnumber us, which is to say that
Totally.
statistically we're fucked. We have no voice. Our lives don't matter. And there's this whole period in history that it will likely be forgotten because nobody fucking gives a shit, because they all lived in some other period of history that didn't involve us. Is essentially the rhyme of it, and it's interesting that a magazine like The Economist would note this.
I've heard that before. Yeah. I mean, it's an argument not without merit. It makes sense. I mean, it's a numbers game.
Well, the interesting thing about the Economist argument is that they arrived there without referring to the fact that we were outnumbered, which would be, you would think, the central claim, but
it would be. Yeah. We are the forgotten generation, as I've heard. Remember when Gen X, like back in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s?
Are you talking about the band Gen X?
No, I'm talking about us.
Oh.
Remember when we were supposed to be sort of like the next great generation that was going to usher in a new world of technology and everything, and we were going to be the one that the world was going to come to be saviors, but we were too busy playing Atari and stuff, so we didn't apply ourselves, and then we ended up getting outnumbered by Gen Z, and that sucks.
Well, not really. Yeah.
My original point was
initially,
we need some sort of like a Canadian alternative to Walmart, which we used to have. And then Walmart, came along and bought out Woolco, which interestingly, I found out years later, Woolco wasn't actually Canadian.
Okay, hold on a minute here. Are we talking about right? So amongst the contendants that are likely to buy Hudson's Bay Company, one of them is Canadian Tire, which I fully support. I think they're a good fit for that.
Well, I've heard that there's I can't remember her name. There's some sort of a woman investor, Canadian, who is talking about buying like 10 stores or something and running the Hudson's Bay Company with those 10 stores in an attempt to try to revive it or something like that.
But what's her vision? Like, is she just trying to revive like a franchise or
I
a
have no idea.
franchise retail operation? Like but it'd be retail franchise because evidently their model for over the last few decades has been to bring every franchise they can into the or where every designer name or whatever. This is something founded at a time when it was really still 17th century. So the birth of
They should go back to selling beaver pelts.
well, no. More to the point, back into shipping generally, like in an age where exchange is suddenly more fraught. A company that has experience, historical experience, as a conduit of goods.
Yeah. I mean,
all I'm saying is there's a legacy here. I don't want to see it mishandled. I don't think any of us do.
No. But is it throwing good money after bad? I mean, the point is that.
Well, but yeah, look, if your only intention is to open more stores and to manage them slightly differently, I don't think you've got there. Yeah.
No. I mean, as our commenter said earlier, Walmart, Amazon for the win. I mean, maybe more so Amazon, because it seems like that's the way things are going, right? You're shopping online and getting stuff delivered directly to your door. But I think that has a bit of a shelf life to it as well. I think there is a little bit of a movement that maybe we could see steamroll over the years ahead that sees people returning to going to brick and mortar stores rather than shopping online. Like I'm tired of the whole.
Look, that very thing I believe is going on right now in the dating world.
The dating world, the apps for dating.
The apps for dating. It's 90% guys, 10% gals, and everybody sort of gets that now. And so it's sort of become gross. And so, and so it's sort of like, let's go back into the real world and try to figure it out. And it seems to be young ladies that are leading the charge. And simple fact of the matter is, I think where I've been around the country, whatever weird constrictions are going on in terms of the macrosphere that us 40-year-olds like to think about, because that's what we are, right? The bottom line is everybody else is much more concerned with sort of stuff that's a little bit more like related to how they spend their fun time. And I don't know that that's necessarily not like none of that's really being very badly hurt by any of this. And so the idea of people getting out, and if you're going to have an economy that's not based on dire necessity, it's going to be based on mating. That seems to be the sort of the natural history's answer to that question, right? So what you expect is where you're going to get action is people want to show off and that kind of thing.
What I predict is not a complete, but a bit of a rejection of the whole online world that we have come to expect over the last 15 years, 20 years.
You mean people are rejecting the internet? Well, come on. I reject the internet.
I mean, I don't reject the internet. I think people reject what the internet has become.
Yeah. I mean, there are.
It's happening slowly, but I can see it getting more and more.
The desire to want to have a closer relationship with your real IRL.
Yeah.
Is it the Dark Forest? I think it's the Dark Forest theory, where I'll have to look that up. But essentially, there's this whole idea that the internet is becoming a dark forest where it's bots talking to each other and no humans are left. So the latest prediction that I saw was that by 2030, the internet won't have humans on it at all anymore. That we will have decided it's lame and not, there's just no
Not
reason
cool.
to be there anymore. Well, just because when there's no one actually participating.
Look, there's a lot of space between here and now, and then. The trouble is, at any point in between, if something goes off in space and it blows up, then you've got shrapnel. It shreds our satellite connectivity, and we're decades back in terms of how we're doing what we're doing, and that any of that's open game right now.
You know what we need, and maybe, I mean, I could be completely off base with this, but we're here we go on our phones on the internet, and we're scrolling, and we're clicking on things, and we're reading, and then we click on something else, and we fall down these rabbit holes. What we need to do is eliminate this, and what we need is sort of like a more Star Trekian way of doing things. It's like, computer, what is this? And then the computer reads it out for you, and then that's it. You're done. There's nothing to click on. You can't really go into more detail. Maybe that's what we need.
In a world that
basically, you think that we need to have like a reboot.
Their thumb to your forehead and do a mind meld.
Yeah, maybe. Computer working.
Mind meld.
Working.
Mind meld. Mind meld. Mind meld.
I mean, I guess we already have that with like Alexa and all that kind of stuff.
Like what is this mind meld mentality? Look, there is something a little odd about the fact that since the Renaissance, the single objective of Western society has been to create a more and more convincing and convincingly exchangeable illusion for reality. Whereas every Hebraic dominant society previously identified that as sin, ultimate idolatry, blah blah blah, graven image, all of that shit, right? Like there's something sort of odd about that, isn't there? This race to try to create the most convincing illusion of reality that we possibly can, but not only create it, but create it at the touch of a button without.
Isn't it kind of like the Matrix? We've created our own alternate reality.
It's pretty fucked. Like it's one of those things where you like. Have you ever met somebody that's maybe the building in their own story? Like, kind of wonder why we're doing this.
It's messed up.
Why are we doing this? I mean, why does the human race do anything? When you really think about it. Sorry?
Profit.
And that's it? We're just
That's it.
profit and we're fucked. What do you mean by that? Like, how is that entirely just commerce? That's it?
Commerce. That's it.
What is commerce? What the commerce is shorthand
It's
for
an avenue for making money off of the users.
Rent seeking is what you're saying?
Sorry?
Rent seeking? It's a term that's been thrown around a bit. At times, I think it's highly appropriate. I have come across people who think that now, when you say that a lot, rent seeking is obviously like, well, you know, anybody trying to make a profit is obviously wrong or evil. I don't agree with that either. I think it's
No, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely fair to want to.
I do think that the internet was created, and I mean the internet creation, like no one person just said, I'm going to create the internet. I mean,
When it's
more
naked
than that.
speaking,
But I do think that people actually thought that it was going to help humanity. And if they made a few bucks off of it in the process, fine.
look, when it's nothing but naked, like just trying to demand from others.
Mm-hmm.
Then I guess then it puts it down to enforcement. So it's what's the enforcement conditions?
I think it comes down to not necessarily enforcement, but education. Educating the users on what is, when they're being taken for a ride and when they're not.
So you're wise to the point that the scammers in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
I just thought I'd point this all out. Yeah.
Yeah, Snake Plissken, motherfucker.
At the very end of Escape from LA, where he had he basically wiped out technology with that weapon.
Yeah. There's some precedent to what. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
God,
So
I
he
don't remember
basically
that movie
decided-
at all. I've seen it, but it's been
I remember
years
the
and
very
years ago.
last scene where he basically nukes the planet with an EMP so that all electronics and technology dies, and I guess somehow they felt they were not going to be able to recover from it. There was a point.
Look, I think what China has determined is that if it really comes right down to a serious fist fight, they could just knock that shit out of the sky without any effort at all.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Well, that's basically what what was that film with Rory Calhoun?
You
Sandra
mean that
Bullock.
guy that's standing and walking all the time?
It was Sandra Bullock and George Clooney. They were astronauts, and
Of course they
I
were.
think it was the Russians. I don't know. Somebody did something stupid, and they crashed some satellite or something, and so it created like a storm of small bits of satellite that basically orbited the Earth and destroyed the International Space Station and destroyed the space shuttle or whatever. But yeah, there was that is a real sort of, just to go back to what you were saying earlier, that yeah, if that happens, which it has happened already, we're screwed. Like, we won't be able to launch anything because it'll be, I mean, it's already a shooting gallery all now, where every time they launch a rocket, they have to make all these, trackable objects where they don't fly into them or into their flight path or whatever. So, it's a real problem, and it's just going to get worse. And there's a scene in Wall-E,
Yes.
that Pixar.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, well, they launched the rocket to leave the Earth or whatever, and it's like bouncing off of all of this shit that's in orbit, and yeah.
I mean, that's an exaggeration, right? But
Well, yeah, they would have blown up and died in orbit. So,
yeah,
I don't know. Are we that pessimistic now? Are we feeling that pessimistic, or do we? Actually,
I'm a short-term pessimist, a long-term optimist.
Well, exactly, because are we
And
ultimately?
and I will also cite Jaron Lanier. No, sorry, I'm Frenchifying his name. Jaron Lanier, because he's a fucking Californian, isn't the fuck?
Yeah, screw him, Californian.
But yeah, as he put it, like, you know, I'm positive about the future, because if people fuck what we're doing right now, there won't be one.
Yeah, and I do every so often think that is the main issue that we're going to be having, is that a lot of us out there are going to be wandering around, wondering about this, that, and the other thing, and then suddenly, boom, we're going to be like, "What happened?" Even though if we were paying attention, we would have seen it happening. But am I that stay out? I don't know if I feel like I'm aware-ish, but maybe not as much as I could be. I don't know.
I'm pretty pessimistic.
I feel like we're gonna just wake up one day and suddenly we'll be, I don't know.
We'll wake up one day and there won't be any
We'll wake up
internet
one
or
day,
digital
or we
devices.
won't.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's actually a better way to describe it.
It'll be like Maximum Overdrive in real life. You walk past like a Coke machine, it'll start shooting out Coke cans at you, and
Which
Honey, KTM just called me an asshole.
answer I am properly prepared for. I have been prepared for that danger through life.
That a vending machine will attempt to murder you?
Yeah, no. I already know how transparently thin their allegiance to us is.
Okay. So true. I mean, in terms of like that happening, which, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but the Maximum Overdrive is being redone. I gather as a TV show, like a
what?
limited series thing. I read that just not too long ago.
No, that's stupid.
No. Like, it's one of those things that has richly required a reboot.
A reboot, yeah.
The where a reboot is absolutely unnecessary for every other fucking horror genre out there. This is the single one where absolutely a sequel is required.
A sequel, or is this a reboot?
Reboot.
It's a reboot, yeah.
Because all the conditions that were so fucking alien and bizarre and impossible to explain in the first one are now totally explicable by the technology we use daily now.
I know.
And AC/DC are still alive, and so if they're not fucking doing the soundtrack,
They won't.
I will be furious, and I will fucking beat people around the head until they do.
I doubt AC/DC would be doing the soundtrack this one around. Whoever's doing is helming this project will want to make it their own, and would remove.
That's dumb. They should never do that. Not at all.
Exactly.
Should be 100% backwards facing, but contemporary with what we now understand with. No,
I totally get you. Maximum Overdrive is not a great film, but for what it is,
yes, it's
a great film.
Well, it's not as great as its advertisement. Its advertisement better than the film, admittedly.
Yes, but I mean, for what it is, it's great.
Look, it reminds me of a time when it would never have occurred to me that Emilio Estevez was racial. You know what I mean? Like, it's the last time that I think there really was common ground across, Australia, Canada, U.S., all of us together. We still had a bit of that spirit. That was maybe the last time that was something that really got captured.
Totally.
And since then, I think it's been a bit of a shit show.
Maximum Overdrive is one of those films where it's easier to suspend your disbelief over a concept. It's kind of like another movie that kind of came out around the same time, Tremors.
Right.
Tremors was fucking great, by the way.
It was so good. So good. So good. Not believable in reality.
It's the problem with us just that we're fucking Gen Xers, and so nobody gives a shit whether we fucking like Tremors or not.
See, that's another movie I would not want to see rebooted.
Neither would I. Now, House, which had a full-on 80s style sequel in House 2.
Oh, yeah.
And then all the way through in terms of sequels until I think maybe 6, which happened in the 90s when it was all fucking shitty, like the shittiest CGI. I mean, so here's what's fucked up about all of that. Now in the age of AI, the shittiness of the CGI is something that people will remorse for because it's craftsmanly and it's artisanal. And so you're going to get people trying to develop products that will allow you to make your footage look more like that using a AI technology. That's what Marshall McLuhan predicted, and I think he's right.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, we're screwed.
Well, I don't know if we're screwed or not. I think that's really we're screwed to the degree that it's up to us and has always been and will always continue to be us, which is to say that yes, we're in the position of those screwed unless we figure out a way out of this puzzle that's satisfying, which is there's really no way out because at the end of the day, it will always.
If we break things down,
the Restless Destroyer will get us.
If we break things down to the simplest terms, anything that happened years ago, like let's just say movies. So we're going to say Tremors, Maximum Overdrive. These were projects that were built on passion. Somebody had a passion for them and actually had like an artistic angle with them. As opposed to today, if those same movies were made today, they would be made with executives saying, okay, we can maximize profits if we do this or maximize profit. There's no passion anymore. It's all about economies. And that's what we need to get back to. We need to get back to passion. And that's actually going to bring me full circle back to Pink Floyd, because that's what Pink Floyd did after Syd Barrett left the group. They had to reinvent themselves, and they actually released like 3 albums with just experimental crap that they would admit themselves today is not anywhere close to their best work. But they still put out these albums because they were passionate about them at the time, and they evolved past them to put out the stuff that they are so well known for now, including like, Dark Side of the Moon and stuff like that. So passion, we're missing passion. Passion.
So what you're saying is the future is different.
And yet the same.
Computers.
It's
The
computers. St. David's High School football rules. Locke didn't get it.
That's the best. Well,
I think I got lost in a lot of that.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm
It
not
was
really...
a Bill and Ted's reference.
a Bill and Ted's reference about the future.
Okay. Yeah. No. I got that. Yeah. Do you guys agree with that? Do you think passion is a...
I do.
Okay. What do you do with that? What do you do with that?
I don't know. I don't know. How do we bring passion back into our industries? And tell the executive that
how important is craftsmanship?
Well, I mean, to me, craftsmanship is part and parcel with passion.
Okay.
I mean, craftsmanship is different than engineering. We agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So just because you can come up with a superior product by setting it out in advance and having people, there's a different thing that comes when people are invested in the outcome because they are doing the process. They are at home with it in a way that is, I don't know if am I just trying to reinvent the word craftsmanly here? And as the Crafty boys, what like we've invested some stake in. What is this about? It's crafting things. The maker movement. Like, does anybody know what the statistics on makers are? Is that something that we became as part of the lost generation that just were like, fuck it, we'll just make shit?
I don't know.
Shane, any thoughts?
I was waiting for Alan's brilliance to kick in, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any numbers or anything. I mean,
look, but never mind the numbers. I'm not expecting you to have those. What I'm saying is, like, do you think that the fact that we're so underrepresented in terms of raw numbers, in terms of our preferences for popular culture, which I think have followed other generations more than they followed ours, although one of the rare examples that we are in fact labeled after, which is an odd thing, Billy Idol is currently on tour with original guitarist Steve Stevens. I kind of think I might try to get tickets. Still working that out.
Huh. I'm shocked by that, actually.
Well, by which?
But that you would want to see Billy Idol.
Fuck, really?
Really?
Why?
I don't know. Just doesn't really seem like your jam, but
awesome guitar.
Okay.
Vocals that are like this.
I mean, for its time, I thought it was fine, but it's no Iron Maiden or anything. I mean,
it's not prog rock, but then again, like for music that has for pop music that has a cross demographic appeal, beat fucking Billy Idol. I mean, the closest I can come to is fucking Billy Ocean, and I think Billy Idol's probably got the edge on that one.
Oh, totally. Between the two, I would take Billy Idol every day.
But what's fucked up is I think there's a lot of Caribbean folk who would fucking lean with you.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
he's no
me,
rapper.
for me, it'd be an even balance because I do like me some Billy Ocean. I like it,
Okay.
fuck Billy Ocean.
But I mean, neither of them.
Quality as '80s music really got. Like you don't score a soundtrack like "Romancing the Stone" 2 by accident.
True. But I mean, neither of them, Billy Ocean or Billy Idol, would be in my top 20 live acts that I would pay money to see.
But imagine you couldn't anymore. The problem that we face is as old fuckers, we like to assume that those are all those young guns doing that shit. And it's sort of like, yeah, I am that senior motherfucker that's sort of more of a rocker than I am a punk. But when I look at Billy Idol, I'm like, imagine a world where there's no more Billy Idol because he's dead and I outlived him. Or one where where we're both senile, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think I better see him while I can, sort of thing,
True.
you know.
True.
And the other thing is, Steve Stevens is a motherfucker on the guitar. Like the thing with Billy Idol that's confusing to most people is he looked like punk, he sounded like metal, but he advertised like pop.
I know, right?
And the
I
magic,
think that's why I find him unappealing.
the magic continues. Oh my god, no, I love that about him. Is he is that
Have you guys seen? Have you guys seen the commercials that he's in lately?
Yeah, I'm fucking 100% down with it. He's doing.
I mean, they're kind of funny. I don't know what the company is.
Yeah,
but
but it's sort of like he's sort of like, yeah, you call yourself a rock star. I'm a rock star. Yeah.
It's these like in a boardroom somewhere. It goes, oh yeah, you did that one task really well. That makes you a rock star. And he comes and goes, no, you're not a rock star. I'm a rock star.
Fucking A. Yeah, no, I'm fucking well with that.
I mean, it's funny, but
fucking A is funny. Pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, it wasn't just him. There was others that were involved in it too, but he's the one that sort of like stuck.
Yes. Although I'm trying to remember who else.
I don't remember. He was the only one that stuck out to me.
You're Gen X. I actually do know. One of them was what's her face? You know that woman, the one that isn't Madonna.
Cyndi Lauper?
No. The other one that isn't Madonna.
One who isn't
our age. What is it? No. The fuck is it?
Boney M?
No, not Boney M. Sorry, I'm going the wrong direction. The one what was Lady Gaga.
Oh,
okay, yeah.
And all of that lead up was, of course, just an accident.
Right.
Yeah, no. Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga is cool. Like she has gone on record to say that she fucking admires Iron Maiden, which rightly she should. So there you go.
See, I'd rather see Iron Maiden before seeing Billy Idol, but that's
and I'm not, and I did in fact. So I will be doing so.
Is Iron Maiden currently?
Oh, they're getting ready for their 50th anniversary tour.
Oh wow.
50th anniversary. So that's how fucking old those guys are.
The Who just announced their retirement tour.
Oh, really?
Okay. Well, look at and announcing a retirement tour is a good thing to do 20 years in advance of the fact. So
Well, I seem to remember that they toured in like the late '80s. They were in Vancouver in the late '80s, and they were has-beens then.
Kind of want to. I want to go see that. Like to
See
me,
what?
that would be. I'm just looking up Iron Maiden's tour here. See if they actually have any dates yet. Is it going to be
Rock
this
and Roll
year?
Damnation.
Run for Our Lives tour?
I was a whipping boy. Rock and Roll Damnation. Take a chance, but you still got a choice.
Actually, it just started.
Yes, it did.
They're in what's the date today? They're playing in Hungary for the next. Starts on the 27th. It looks like. Then they're going to the Czech Republic. Then they're going to, looks like Norway, Sweden, Finland, Belgium, England, Ireland,
What about North America?
France, Spain, Germany, Austria. So really, I guess pretty much it. So between now and August, they're playing Europe, Scandinavia, and that's it. They're not so far. They're not coming to North America.
I think we can trust
I
that.
assume they will be, though.
Yes, I would assume so.
Just has yet to be announced. Our shows sell out very quickly. If you've been disappointed, please note that generally more tickets are released days up. Blah, blah, blah. That says nothing about, but it is called the World Tour. So I guess they're just.
Yeah, no. They're going to be eventually getting everywhere. They usually do.
So I'm very pleased about that. That I'd love to see. But this is not their old, like this is not their final ever tour, is it?
No.
Well, we don't think
Who
so.
is?
Yeah, well, we don't know for certain. This is true. I just thought I was just curious.
Yeah, look, here's the thing. Rolling Stones just released a new album. They going to tour it?
Really?
Well, I don't know, but well, I mean, like 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Their shows are going to be afternoon shows because the band members have to go to bed after they have their prune mush.
Mm.
You can never go wrong with the prune mush that we have to have at the end of the day.
The tour bus is like from the
have any of you seen Slow Horses?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah. The opening track is new Stones material, and I gotta say, it sounds fucking pretty good to me.
I don't see anything here. Anyway, boys and girls, we've been online for quite a while, but we will come back next week. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And words insert here some information.
Bad things, do them
Bad
now.
things, good things.
You are commanded.
See you all next week. Bye, guys.